Well, good morning, good friends. Mark Holmes here with my buddy Cowboy Joe Boo, as well as Joe Bear in the house. And as always, I want to say thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Boo Sports Report. Without you guys, as well as you ladies, you know that this literally does not work. So let's get open for business here and let's wake up those football gods. Oh, my God. Oh, what a night. That was a heart attack game. That literally was a game that made me lose my religion, and I apologize, man. It's crazy because this morning it's been it's been crazy because I've been trying to get set up here and do this, and I've started over so many times because I got here, then I realized my stream deck was over there. I started recording, and then I realized Joe Boo was over there, and I had to start over again. Then I started again, and then realized that this camera had been hit, so now it was kind of diagonal. I think when Sheed fell out on the floor because the Giants were getting their ass handed to him, that he must have hit the camera over there. So, I just had to start over from there. And then I get here, and then it was like I had this tickle in my throat, and I tried to get through it, and it was just like... So choking on here. So hopefully fifth time's the charm, because sometimes no matter what you do, you don't exactly come out perfect every single time. Last night was one of those games that, as many times, this is where it's so funny to me. So many times when Diggs ended up getting interceptions last year, we heard, oh, interceptions, turnovers, they don't really mean anything. We've heard Colin Cowherd, I don't mind a turnover here and there. It's okay. It's not a big, okay. It is. It is. You give the other team the ball on, the 15-yard line, 12-yard line, whatever it was, with the kickoff return, or the punt return, it's an easy score. It's a momentum shift. And sometimes the difference between winning and losing can be that momentum. Dak Prescott, tip pass, boom, interception, terrible pass. I mean, stupid throw that we had in the game there. It was just bad. But this is where we got good and bad Dak, where in the past we would lose those games. We'd lose those games. And I'll give you a great example because I remember being in Hawaii, which was great. If you want to really be a football fan, go to Hawaii because it's like 8 o'clock in the morning, football games are on. You got the Sunday night game on, at like 3 o'clock in the afternoon. You're done by, 6 o'clock and still can go enjoy yourself. I remember the Denver game, 51-49. Tony Romo played incredible the whole game. In the end, it was an interception late in the game that was the it's killer of the game. And we look at it and say, oh, Romo choked, man. Jesus Christ, how could he score 49 points? And how is it that the defense gave up 51? The defense has gotten just, one stop. They win the game. It's a team game. And we played terrible in all phases. But the problem in that game was we ended up turning the ball over 3 times. To only getting it back 1 time. Turnovers matter in the NFL. Now, we had good Dak and bad Dak yesterday. As much as people say he's ass, he's a problem and all that, he led a 98-yard drive to finish the game and find a way to win. Now, the funny thing is I love the tweet here yesterday from J-Ron Curse. J-Ron Curse. When somebody else does it, they show up and can win ugly games. When the Cowboys do it, they suck. Case in point, remember this one?
Their most impressive win of the season. It was only by 1 point, but y'all got to use context when you think about the Eagles' schedule. Remember, the Eagles got a whole bunch of wins, but who did they do them against? You beat a bad Lions team, a bad Jags team, a bad Cardinals team, a Cowboys team led by Cooper Rush, a bad Steelers team, a bad Texans team. Then the Commanders shook up the whole world when they beat the Eagles because it appeared as though we knew the blueprint to beat the Eagles. But the Eagles were so impressive because yesterday, things started bad. 50 yards rushing is what Jonathan Taylor had. 50 yards rushing in the first drive. But The Eagles said, you know what, we're going to shore that up real quick. Keep in mind, they only averaged 15 yards a drive rushing allowed in the first half of their season. So when Jonathan Taylor gets this 50, you think it's going to be all bad. Eagles, they put their foot in the ground. Then Jalen Hurts, he came out there and he put his foot somewhere else. Fourth quarter, Jalen Hurts, 49 yards rushing, 36 yards passing. Eagles outscore the Colts 14-3, and they got busy. It was the Eagles' most impressive win of the season, not because the score was super wide, but because Jalen Hurts in the fourth quarter put the team on his back.
That's right.
Because the Colts in the first quarter, they thought they had the Eagles down bad. Because Jalen Hurts had to overcome a 10-point deficit. Because there were clear coaching errors. And the Eagles on the road against one of the hungriest teams in football, led by a first-time head coach.
Right.
Knew what they had to do when they got it done. LaShawn McCoy,
that was a great job.
Appreciate you,
but can you hear that, though?
What's that?
MVP. They said MVP in Philadelphia, baby.
Okay, we're going to talk about that later. But now tell me this. How impressive was the Eagles win over the Colts?
It was so impressive. MVP, Jalen Hurts. Listen, we entered the fourth quarter down 10 points.
10.
Let's not forget that. And everybody talked about, oh, can the Eagles win? Can they have a come from behind win victory? Can Jalen Hurts do it? Can he do it? Yes, he did. In the NFL, you're going to have games where you don't play well. You're going to have some ugly games, some ugly wins. And he found a way to win. Let's think about this for a second. The Colts, just Saturday's first coaching game, right? They win the game. Oh, my God. Now, everybody loves him. Everybody hated the hire. But soon he won. Oh, he's the answer. So now his first game at home, it was first of all, did you know there was a sellout crowd? Yep. Everybody was there. Everybody named Mama. Everybody in the city went to the game. It was a loud environment. And Jalen Hurts, at the end of the game, found a way to win. And now they're screaming MVP. Oh,
I like that. Joy, where are you staying? How impressive was it?
So the Eagles sneak out a victory after being behind for 59 minutes of the game, after losing to the Colts. They have a drive that wins the game, and their most impressive win. Cowboys, just like this morning getting this video started, sometimes you don't have a perfect day and a perfect game. And that game, I'm going to say, we have seen what the Cowboys can do when they're clicking, which I would say the most complete game we played is the Minnesota Vikings, a 40-3 blowout. And we've seen when the Cowboys don't play well, they can almost lose to anybody. That game was a failure in 3 phases of the game. You can't look at me and say, defense played great. They didn't. Van Der Esch had a pretty good game. We got some injuries. Special teams. Can't say special teams played great. No, we had a turnover in the red zone. Offense. How many drop passes? How many bad passes from Dak? The running game was pretty good, though. So this, I will say, should be like the Green Bay Packer game. The Green Bay Packer game was a wake-up call to say, hey, you can't just show up. You have to play. And I will dare say that the last 2 weeks we have not seen great football. Even though we got the 54-19 blowout, the team was kind of coasting in there. There was kind of showed up. They didn't really show off. Now, we had some mitigating circumstances that hurt us. Our secondary, we've got Kellen Joseph starting, and he's going to have to grow up fast. We had Diggs hurt for a while and missing some time. And we had Hankins that was hurt there too and out. We had some issues. I still think Micah Parsons is still a little bit nicked up and not as fierce as he has been. And then on the offensive side, losing Terrence Steele, people, you don't realize how big that was and how the difference of the turnover, the drive before, where Dak's getting hit, was Josh Ball. The difference of the drive going down there and winning was Jason Peters being there and keeping the quarterback clean. Because here's one other thing I want to point out, and I need to talk to Brother Roz and ask him. If you notice, like if you're watching Tua with Tariq Hill or, some of these players, you notice how the player looks like he's wide open. He's got all this space to run. How often do you actually see a Dallas Cowboys receiver not in the middle of traffic? It looks like he's in the middle of rush hour. Looks like there's always people around. I don't think we get a lot of separation on our plays, and I think that's a direct result of us not having the deep threat to really stretch the field out. But I think probably part of the problem with Dak is right now, some of it's Dak is off. I will give you that. But some of this is there's such tight windows that we have to go that you look around and you say, well, which guys? And you can always find a play here where somebody over here late comes open. I get that. You know, nobody can see every single thing. You're talking about 2 seconds of getting the ball, gathering yourself, and finding that target. Okay, as easy as some of you guys want to say it is, it's not that easy. Pat Mahomes threw 3 interceptions yesterday, mind you. We don't get a lot of separation, and I think that's part of the reason why they're looking and saying Odell Beckham Jr. I hope that James Washington, just got his feet wet, had a couple of plays in there that over the course of maybe next week and the week after, he starts to get some playing time and is able to help this team as well. Noah Brown had probably his best game as a pro, but I still don't see him as a game breaker. And this is one of those things that we got to look at and say, yeah, we got a problem with this. We did have Jake Ferguson was not playing much yesterday. He got a little nicked up, which negated some of the 12 personnel. I did not see much 12 personnel yesterday, and I didn't see enough of the running game because we have 2 backs, believe it or not, that are on pace to both get over 1,000 yards. And that, my friends, is key. So at least the Cowboys get the wake-up call, getting scared to death, but still find a way to win. And for those out there that want to say, oh, this team sucks, I want you to understand that with Dak Prescott, this is the 4th season that we've actually had 10-plus win seasons. In Romo's career, we only had 3 of those. And the last time we had back-to-back winning seasons of 10-plus, double digits, was 95 and 96. You're going to have some bad games. You're going to have some great games. The thing is I'm not going to apologize for a win. And next week against the Jaguars, we win that game, we earn a playoff berth. That's all you got to know. All right, good people, I want you to listen to ESPN as they dissect it and kill the Cowboys this morning.
That they did, Rex. Biggest takeaway, Cowboys yesterday, as a lot of people said, it felt like more like a loss than a win. What'd you think?
Well, I mean, I get where everybody's saying that, hey, you got the victory. That's all you wanted. No, it's not. No, it's not. Because we just saw the team that you're chasing dominate a lesser team. You need to dominate games like that. This game should be over at halftime, and it isn't. It just shows, Dallas, you ain't as good as you think.
So that's the other word that I heard. Are the Cowboys, RC, overrated?
Well, yeah, they're the Cowboys.
Here we go.
I'm not saying that in any negative way about the Dallas Cowboys, but the world wants the Dallas Cowboys to be great. For some reason, that star on the helmet shines more than any other logo in the NFL. But we said the same thing, or we felt the same thing when the Philadelphia Eagles went to Indianapolis and they had to pull out a game late. The Dallas Cowboys found a way to win, or the Houston Texans found a way to lose. The thing is, you now keep pace and you understand that we can't play that way if we're going to beat the good teams in the NFC. If this team shows up in the playoffs, they'll go home week 1 no matter who they play. If they play the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they'll go home week 1. Yeah. But if we see the team that we saw in the 4th quarter against the Indianapolis Colts, if you see the team that you saw for 4 quarters against the Minnesota Vikings, then that team can play with anybody. It's about consistency and it's about discipline. That's on Mike McCarthy. This team has to show up to play, but your quarterback, your leader, who we all said during Cooper Rush's time at quarterback, when this dude comes back, this is who the Cowboys are. He leads the league in interceptions since returning. Dan can get to it a little better than I can. If Dak Prescott doesn't play better, this team can't win a championship because 20 and 21 get downhill on people, and you will be afraid of this run game.
That's Pollard and Zeke. Dan, show us Dak.
Well, right now, the most frustrating thing for Dak Prescott, or really difficult to understand, is how poorly he is seeing the field. That's really been a strength for his. like watching the game and watching the tape, I'm sitting there going, maybe it's a little bit attached to CeeDee Lamb because there's so many choice routes, but it's not just middle of the field and it's not just CeeDee Lamb. I don't know what it is, but Dak Prescott's not right.
The other piece is this, though. He also led a dang 100-yard drive in the game.
Yeah,
and listen, no, listen, Dan, what I'm saying is this. I agree with you, which is why I brought up Dak Prescott and said if he plays like this team can't advance in the playoffs.
Yeah.
But we also have to sit here and say, okay, you played bad. You didn't have your stuff. But late in the fourth quarter, you were Steph Curry and you made the threes to help your team win the game. And that's how you keep a team in the hunt. But he has to be better throughout the 3.5 quarters.
Give me a quick final word. Cowboys, overrated. We talked about San Francisco at the beginning. We're going to get to the Eagles right here, right now. Are the Cowboys good enough? And teams sometimes win games when they play badly. Are the Cowboys good enough?
No, they're not good enough.
They're not good enough.
They are not good enough. And I'm going to tell you why. They're not good enough because they have one person on that is a threat as a receiver. That's CeeDee Lamb. The other guys, whatever. They're okay. They're okay in the run game. As us, we can stop a run and cover one wide out, I can assure you. And right now, the quarterbacks play. You know, I don't think he's the biggest issue right now. I don't think he's got other
I agree.
targets.
They can't pass protect.
Well,
they can't block.
Tyron Smith could improve that if he comes back.
So the Cowboys, again, they find a way to win. This on the same day where the team they're chasing, the Eagles, were taking on the Giants.
All right. So as always, the Cowboys are not good enough to compete. We'll have to wait and see on that one. Like I said, it's funny because teams change so quickly in the NFL. From 1 week to the next, you can be a great team and look fantastic. You can take a look at the Minnesota Vikings and how they're up and down all the time. They end up losing to the Detroit Lions. They got destroyed by us. You know, 1 week they're Kirk Cousins and everything is great, and the next minute they're not. I will say the Philadelphia Eagles did bitch slap the Giants, and they are playing with momentum. But again, it's the NFL, and things can change quickly. All right, good people. I got things we got to do, or as Tom Brady say, I got shit to do. And we'll keep you up to date with all the injuries as they come in with reports later on today. And be sure to tune in tonight. We'll be doing a watch party, and we'll dissect the Dallas Cowboys. Hopefully we'll have prime time and game time joining us. Until then, I'll see you soon.
Mark Holmes here, and as always, I want to thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Boo Sports Report.